Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 episode number 134 based on novel. So let's start. Luo Feng looked at the three Chaos Realm beings before him. While comprehending the great Tao of life, he also enlightened them collectively. Among the three, only they could bear the physical bodies of the Chaos Realm, which was quite extraordinary. Of course, relying on external enlightenment would likely make further progress difficult for their entire lives. You two are also considered to have a destiny to be with me, Luo Feng nodded. You can choose to roam the world, or you can come with me to the Blade River sect. I am willing to follow the master to Blade River sect, the woman transformed from a plant and the young man transformed from a flying beast both said without hesitation. Both of them had long been aware and understood the difficulties of survival for foreign life forms on the origin continent. Clinging to a powerful figure was crucial. The old man transformed from a big tree hesitated. Master, may I roam the world for some time before joining Blade River sect? Luo Feng knew that the big tree had just formed its consciousness during the enlightenment process. Though it appeared as an elder, it was still very immature. You may, Luo Feng nodded. Immediately, Luo Feng disappeared with the woman and the young man into thin air. The big tree old man felt a sense of melancholy. Had he made the right choice? This world? The big tree old man was filled with curiosity. Before being enlightened, he only had vague instincts, sensing some tribal beings passing by and hunting exotic beasts nearby. The big tree old man, now full of curiosity, embarked on its journey. At the headquarters of Blade River sect, Morosa looked at the suddenly appearing Luo Feng along with a woman and a young man. Morosa, these two are the beings I enlightened into the Chaos Realm, Luo Feng instructed. From now on, they are members of Blade River sect. You will be responsible for teaching them. Enlightened life forms? Morosa nodded. With the Master's peak second-level God King of the Great Tao of Life Realm, it was still possible to enlighten life forms of the Chaos Realm. Morosa suddenly stared at the Master in shock. Master, you? Morosa was surprised. Luo Feng usually hid his strength in front of others, but here, he hadn't concealed anything. Morosa could clearly feel that the Master had also reached the great completion. Finally made a breakthrough, Luo Feng smiled and nodded. Congratulations, Master. Congratulations. Morosa was overjoyed. The Master's talent was extraordinary. Even before reaching the Ultimate Realm, the Ultimate Realm secret method of the Great Tao of Life and Death far surpassed Morosa, and with the help of powerful treasures it reached the level of the two founding ancestors of two kingdoms. Now, he had finally made that step. Just a small step, Luo Feng was in a good mood but knew this wasn't much. Coming to the origin continent, it took just over 1,300 epochs to reach the Ultimate Realm. Morosa felt the terrifying growth speed of his master. In terms of secret techniques and spiritual will, the master far surpassed him in every aspect. Meanwhile, Morosa had reached his growth limit and couldn't advance any further. I am the strongest among master's subordinates. I can manage Blade River sect and the Milky Way God Kingdom for you, Morosa said confidently, as he had many clones, formless and invisible, perfect for handling tasks. From today, you can start cultivating the Destruction Legion, Luo Feng instructed. At his current level, this could be made public. Yes, Morosa responded immediately. The woman and the young man were a bit confused. Destruction Legion? Although they had been aware for some time, one had been rooted in the earth as a plant, and the other was a void true god-level foreign beast. The two of them had no idea what the Destruction Legion meant at all. Follow me, Morosa led them away. Luo Feng walked within Huyang City. 3 enlightened Chaos Realm life forms. 2 chose to come to Blade River sect, 1 chose to roam the world. This is the spirituality of life. Luo Feng sighed, with powerful spirituality, life is filled with infinite possibilities, and it's even possible to completely jump out of the supreme rule protection. The so-called cage was, in fact, a kind of protection. Luo Feng looked at the countless cultivators in the bustling Huyang city. Each of them had their own pursuits, their own spiritual paths, will, and lives. At this moment, Luo Feng could become as large or small as he wished, even hide within any living being. Whether it was a cultivator, a mindless creature, or even a blade of grass or a stone, Luo Feng could enter them. Even the entire origin world's memories of him were a kind of life imprint. Luo Feng could use this imprint to quickly recover his body. In the origin continent, I am the concept of life itself. As long as the entire world has an environment that breeds life, a strand of energy, a strand of soil, I will not die, Luo Feng realized. He could kill Emperor Yuan and White Demon, but killing a true ultimate realm being would be much harder. And the ultimate realm of the great Tao of life on the origin continent was practically immortal. Of course, it's also limited to the origin continent's environment, Luo Feng realized. My understanding of life is limited to normal life forms within the origin continent. As for God King and the chaotic origin bloodline, I cannot comprehend them. The so-called complete great Tao, without leaving traces, and isolating karma, it also had limitations. Who all have karma, and after reaching the ultimate realm, the complete great Tao could obscure and blur karma, making it difficult for enemies to detect. Even traces left in time and space would become blurry. Methods within the cage are impossible to spy on, but higher-level methods that jump out of the cage are clear as day. Luo Feng's eye of life and death opened. Under its observation, not only ultimate realm beings but even the ancestors of two kingdoms, some of their karma and traces, could be seen. Who? Luo Feng arrived at the highest pavilion within the city lord's mansion and sat alone. The Tao I have mastered is the Tao within the origin world. What I need to do now is explore in the darkness, allowing the Tao within the origin world to merge with higher-level mysteries, evolving into the Tao of the chaotic origin level. Luo Feng understood this. Every enlightened person exploring in the darkness hoped to realize their own Tao of the chaotic origin level. These materials from the ultimate realm chaotic origin bloodline creatures. Luo Feng flipped his hand, looking at the shattered scales in front of him. I can comprehend the 9 phase forms contained in their basic life composition. But the substances that form these 9 forms are beyond my comprehension because they originate from their chaotic origin bloodline, which is beyond the scope of the great Tao of life within the cage. If the great Tao of life at the chaotic origin level, it should be able to comprehend the scales and fur of chaotic origin life forms more deeply. Luo Feng thought. At the ultimate level God King, one needed to comprehend the 9 phase forms and then use the great Tao of matter to understand matter. Only by combining these could one form the final life form. But in reality, the matter of all life could belong to the great Tao of life at the chaotic origin level. The higher you go, the more inclusive it becomes. The Tao of chaotic origin level is vast and endless. Luo Feng had seen the Star Tower, the Eye of Life and Death, 2 pieces of special life form remains, and the innate secret treasure palm world. These experiences made him realize how vast the Tao at the chaotic origin level was. At least, I have seen them, Luo Feng whispered. Even within Huyang City, Luo Feng could observe all the ultimate realm chaotic origin bloodline creatures within the origin continent. These 9 creatures had a total of 27 different phase forms. Luo Feng had comprehended the 15 phase forms before and naturally broke through, mastering the complete great Tao of life. After mastering great Tao, comprehending these phase forms became much easier. After over 100 more epochs, Luo Feng had comprehended all 27 forms. The 9 types of ultimate realm chaotic origin bloodline creatures on the origin continent each have their own talents. 4 are weak and can be ignored, while the other 5 each have their uses. Luo Feng's mind moved, and a clone appeared beside him. This clone had silver-grey scales and still resembled Luo Feng. The silver-grey scales seemed to shimmer, and an observer could see the presence of this clone across past timeline, present, and future timelines. This clone could be called the time clone, naturally existing in the past, present, and future simultaneously. Although it can be used, I don't fully understand its mysteries. The 5 types of ultimate realm chaotic origin bloodline creatures Luo Feng selected, once he transformed, with his spiritual will, his realm mastery, they could all considered as early-stage God Emperor level life forms. From now on, to have a stronger body, I will need to comprehend it myself. Invisible and formless, no longer can they help me, Luo Feng understood. 5 clones of heaven and earth clones. Luo Feng's mind moved, and a clone appeared. This clone was dressed simply and appeared ordinary, but in an instant, it spread like mist, quickly expanding to a range of hundreds of millions of kilometers, far surpassing the range of Huyang City. The heaven and earth clone had a talent, merging with heaven and earth, able to integrate into the operation laws of heaven and earth, and even leverage the operation laws of heaven and earth, using 1 part of strength to leverage 100 or 1,000 parts of strength. Innate secret treasure. Palm world, rise. Luo Feng fully activated this innate secret treasure. Boom! The entire Huyang city shook, startling its citizens. What's going on? What's happening? Many cultivators flying high above looked down at Huyang city. They could see enormous mountain range shining outside the city in all directions. Originally ordinary winding mountains were transforming into huge furry claws. 5 mountains range were just the sharp tips of these claws, with an even larger parts emerged from the ground, while the palm of the claw was lifting the entire Huyang city. Master! Mu Qingyang and Xin Yu were both stunned. Luo Feng. Yuan also felt the commotion was too great, and the aura from the enormous claw was even more terrifying than that of Thunder Mountain. This claw is an innate secret treasure I am controlling, Luo Feng sent a voice transmission, calming the Blade River sect higher-ups. At the same time, they were all amazed by Luo Feng's terrifying power. This giant furry claw spread over billions of kilometers, 2/3 of it was partially exposed on the surface, still some of it was under the ground, while the palm was lifting Huyang City. At this moment, Huyang City was floating at an altitude of around 80 trillion kilometers, suspended in the giant claw's palm. The palm world was indeed wondrous. This was the first time Luo Feng had fully unleashed it without any concealment, and he could feel the wonder of the palm world. It was truly a complete world, completely isolated from the outside, even isolating Karma, which was even more terrifying than Thunder Mountain. Heaven and Earth clone, merge with the palm world. Luo Feng thought. The Heaven and Earth clone began to merge with the palm world. Since this innate treasure was also under Luo Feng's control, it did not resist this merging. Once fully integrated. At this moment, Luo Feng's Heaven and Earth clone was completely integrated with the palm world, feeling the operation of the world within the palm world, giving Luo Feng another perspective for comprehension. Milky Way turned out to be Luo He. Emperor Qing's laughter came from afar. Brother Milky Way, you've hidden it well. Such a big commotion had already alarmed the entire origin continent, attracting the attention of powerful beings one by one. Luo Feng's Heaven and Earth clone was an early-stage God-Emperor life form. The process of fusing the Heaven and Earth clone with the innate secret treasure, palm world, allowed some of the strongest beings on origin continent to glimpse parts of the information. A mysterious early-stage God-Emperor? Such a powerful secret treasure? Who else could it be besides the Milky Way Kingdom Lord? It couldn't possibly be that 2 early-stage God-Emperors had emerged consecutively on origin continent. Ha ha ha, I still couldn't hide it from Brother Emperor Qing, Luo Feng said, standing on one of the towering peaks of a massive furry paw. At this moment, he revealed his true appearance, with the mask vanishing. Who tilde. Emperor Qing also arrived on this peak and laughed, such a powerful clone, such a powerful secret treasure. Other than Brother Milky Way, I can't think of anyone else. Is this an innate secret treasure? Emperor Qing stood at the mountain top, marveling at the massive furry paw. The value of this innate secret treasure is extraordinary. If placed in the infinite space treasure trove, it would probably be worth 30 to 40,000 reward points. Luo Feng nodded. Based on his long-term research, the secret patterns contained in this innate secret treasure were slightly inferior to the special life form remains, but it was, after all, still a secret treasure. Did you get it from the dream realm? Emperor Qing asked. Yes. Luo Feng nodded. In my entire cultivation journey, this is the only innate secret treasure I've obtained. I've cultivated for longer than you, and I've explored the dream realm and the heavenly pillar realm for quite some time, yet I've only acquired 2 innate secret treasures in total, Emperor Qing said with a laugh. And judging by my experience, its value is close to that of a special life form remains. Luo Feng smiled faintly. You don't seem to plan to take this innate secret treasure out? Emperor Qing asked as he observed the vast realm created by the innate secret treasure, currently protecting Huyang City. Luo Feng nodded. I won't take it out. This Huyang City can be called the safest place on all of Origin Continent. Emperor Qing said. Its isolation from karma is too powerful, even I can't perceive it. Using the Eye of Life and Death, Luo Feng could see the karma connections between the living beings inside Huyang City and those outside the Palm world. However, other methods could not probe it. Whoosh, whoosh. Two more figures arrived side by side. They were the Flame Wind Ancestor and the Thunder Ancestor. What an extraordinary innate secret treasure! Flame Wind Ancestor marveled. It seems to be the core of a high-level chaotic origin life form, nurtured over countless years inside the dream realm by that world-class chaotic origin life form, eventually forming such an innate secret treasure. Its value rivals that of a special life form remnant. Flame Wind Ancestor, you can deduce even that? Luo Feng asked, surprised. I've lived in this origin world for several eras and have seen quite a few special life form remains and innate secret treasures, Flame Wind Ancestor said with a laugh. Outside the origin world, I've also heard of similar news, so naturally, I can infer a thing or two. Thunder Ancestor gazed at the massive furry paw and couldn't help but ask, Milky Way, are you planning to sell this innate secret treasure? I could help you obtain something suitable for you, the inheritance for the enlightened person that points directly to the half-chaotic origin level. An inheritance that points directly to the half-chaotic origin level? Emperor Qing, standing nearby, was somewhat surprised. He knew well that inheritances below the God Emperor level were common, but an enlightened people inheritance at the half-chaotic origin level was far more valuable. I won't sell it, Luo Feng replied, shaking his head. If you plan to sell it, contact me at any time, Thunder Ancestor said patiently. After living for so long, he understood well the power of time. Cultivators often changed their minds over long spans of years. Perhaps, under different circumstances, Luo Feng might willingly sell the treasure in the future. Luo Feng looked up into the distance. The ancestor of East Pole region, Feng 11, had also arrived. All the God Emperors on Origin Continent have gathered here today, Luo Feng said with a laugh. This is also an honor for me, Luo He. With a wave of his hand, caves, tables, and chairs formed, and fine wine and fruits were prepared. Everyone, please take a seat. Luo Feng, the two ancestors, Emperor Qing, and the ancestor Feng 11 of the Eastern Pole region, a total of 5 of them sat down, which were the 5 most powerful existences on the Origin Continent. I had speculated about who the Milky Way Kingdom Lord might be before, the ancestor Feng 11 said with a laugh. I even considered Luo He. But Luo He is so young, I couldn't believe it. Who would have thought it really was Luo He? Luo He, Flame Wind Ancestor couldn't help but ask, are you a reincarnator, or did you truly cultivate to this level in just over 1,000 epochs? Those experts in the history of the Origin Continent, in terms of cultivation paths, in terms of secret techniques, none of them match Luo He. They shouldn't be reincarnated, Ancestor Feng 11 shook his head. Thunder Ancestor, however, smiled and said, perhaps he's a reincarnation of an expert from another origin world. As he spoke, both Flame Wind Ancestor and Thunder Ancestor looked at Luo Feng. An expert from another origin world, reincarnated here? Luo Feng was surprised. Has that happened on Origin Continent before? From amongst the infinite space treasure trove, Luo Feng knew that there was a way to reincarnate to other origin worlds. It hasn't on Origin Continent, Flame Wind Ancestor said with a laugh. But outside the origin world, we've heard quite a bit about it. If you're not a reincarnated, Thunder Ancestor asked, Luo He should have come to the Origin Continent by breaking into reincarnation, first arriving at Huyang City, about 1,500 epochs ago so far. And you have reached such a realm? Such time, such strength, truly terrifying, Emperor Qing marveled, looking at Luo Feng. The two ancestors, Emperor Qing and the ancestor of East Pole region, they all felt that if they really cultivated to such strength in a short period of time, this growth rate would be too terrifying. It would still be understandable if it was an old monster reincarnated from another origin world. Ha ha ha, Luo Feng laughed. You all can just think of me as reincarnated. He couldn't be bothered to explain or prove anything. To have such an achievement in a really short period of time is to look at the many origin worlds, to look at the billions of worlds. You would be among the very top. Flame Wind Ancestor and the others all had a vague feeling that this Luo he might really have cultivated himself in a short period of time. This feeling shocked their hearts. This talent. This potential. At this moment, on the origin continent, emperors, monarchs, and many god kings were speculating about the events in Huyang City. They had faintly guessed a possibility. Emperor Yang, Emperor 11, and Emperor Wu had gathered. The real identity of the Milky Way Kingdom Lord is almost certainly Luo He. Emperor Yang sat uneasily on his throne, his huge fiery wings drooping, and his long-scaled tail swishing anxiously. The flames on his body flickered and twisted. Are you so anxious? Emperor Wu said, a powerful secret treasure in the area of Huyang City is proof that the Milky Way Kingdom Lord is Luo He. Sister Wu, didn't you see the might of that treasure? It has already reached the upper limit of power on the origin continent. Emperor Yang anxiously said, even the Karma isolation more effectively than Thunder Mountain. I can no longer feel the life forms within Huyang City. Emperor 11 coldly nodded from the side. In terms of Karma isolation on the origin continent, Thunder Mountain was previously ranked first, being the Holy Land. Now, the Karma isolation of Huyang City is even stronger. Such a treasure depends on the master who wields it, Emperor Yang said. People like Gui Shu can be given powerful secret treasures, but he can't unleash much power. But the might of the gigantic claw is so strong, the master of this treasure must be stronger than us. A sudden emergence of such a powerful existence and such a powerful treasure on the origin continent? Who else could it be besides the Milky Way Kingdom Lord? Emperor Yang said urgently. And those 5 mountain ranges in a row are already hundreds of epochs around Huyang City. Considering Luo his growth speed. Considering that the former Milky Way Kingdom Lord killed the 3 rulers of the Food Kingdom. Yet the territory ended up in Luo his hands. Milky Way Kingdom Lord despises evil, and looking at Luo his growth, he is similarly someone who loathes injustice. Emperor Yang anxiously said, with everything combined, it's almost certain that Luo he is the Milky Way Kingdom Lord. As the first emperor of the Flame Wind Ancient Kingdom, Emperor Yang was able to unite the 2 emperors and establish the strongest faction within the kingdom. His sharp eyes had long perceived Luo Feng's potential and he wished to suppress it. But even he didn't expect Luo Feng to grow so terrifyingly fast. Even if he is the Milky Way Kingdom Lord, what can we do? We haven't plundered billions of living beings. Emperor 11 said indifferently, we don't have any great grudges with him either. Emperor Wu, you and Emperor Chu have a lot of grudges, Emperor Yang said. We haven't killed any of Luo his race or sect disciples. Emperor Wu replied, as for my grudge with Emperor Chu, is fine, but I've lost 2 children. I'm the one who lost more. After all, we are the emperors of Flame Wind Ancient Kingdom, and the ancestor is merciful. As long as it's not a huge mistake, he will protect us. Emperor 11 looked at Emperor Yang. I know what you mean. You want to leave the origin continent? Emperor Yang looked at his wife. Don't entrust your fate to other powerful beings. After concluding that Luo he was almost certainly the Milky Way Kingdom Lord, Emperor Yang had already made his decision. I don't want to leave, Emperor 11 shook her head. I've heard that outside the origin world, those of us who only possess ultimate realm life forms are the weakest, the lowest ranked. I would rather survive on the origin continent for tens of billions of epochs than go outside. Emperor Yang didn't try to persuade her further. If the origin continent was nearing extinction, and they had to leave, Emperor 11 would likely agree. But there were still tens of billions of epochs left. It was still a very long time, and it was perfectly normal for Emperor 11 not to want to leave. Another place. Emperor Chu looked far at Huyang City, where the massive, furry claw that held Huyang City. The aura was even more terrifying than Thunder Mountain. To be able to control such a secret treasure and not fear being seized by the ancestors, but instead he took initiative to show it. Emperor Chu thought, it must be the Milky Way Kingdom Lord. He displayed such power in Huyang City. Such a powerful secret treasure is only used to protect the city? The emperors were not foolish. This time, Luo Feng's display of power in Huyang City, coupled with past clues, made it easy for everyone to speculate that Luo He was likely the Milky Way Kingdom Lord. My disciple, could he be the Milky Way Kingdom Lord? Could it be? Emperor Chu looked into the distance, feeling a little confused. Luo Feng. Emperor Chu suddenly sent a communication order to contact Master. Luo Feng responded. Luo Feng, are you the Milky Way Kingdom Lord? Emperor Chu asked again. Yes. I am the Milky Way Kingdom Lord. It's the disciples' fault to hidden it from Master for so long, Luo Feng replied. Emperor Chu only felt blood boiling, and his head rumbling. This video will end here.